Hi guys, I'm back again with another video. I know today's normally going to be our tutorial Tuesday, but I wanted to kind of sort of experiment before I did a tutorial for this. I actually took some small pieces of heart-shaped confetti and I put down my white base and then I glued on the confetti. That way the white would pop through. Then I would do, the eyeshadow and everything, and then I would take some tweezers and I would pluck those little pieces of confetti off, leaving that white underneath to stand out. And I actually went over it again with a little bit of my NYX pencil in milk just to make them stand out a little bit more and also make them a little tacky so I could put on some quite iridescent glitter. So I just wanted to try that first, and as you can tell, my red glitter didn't exactly blend well, especially on my left eye. But I went to Dollar Tree today. I had something happen that just really put me in a foul mood, so I had to do something to take my mind off of it. So I decided to go see if Dollar Tree had some more Profusion mini palettes, and they did. They had a crap load. But they had also a single Physicians Formula mini palette, and they also had a new one for the LA colors, the little trios that I had gotten in my first haul video. This one's not quite as easy to open as the other ones that I bought, but I will show you. It has this nice little black, which has a little bit of shimmer to it, this pewter gray, and a white. All of these actually are a little bit shimmery, but especially the white. The white actually has a substantial amount of shimmer. And now we can move on to the Profusions. First was this itty bitty one right here, and it's called Shimmer. And you'll notice, just like I did, these don't have the names written on the back, so I actually took one of my paint pens and I hand wrote the name on the back and then went over it with a clear nail polish just so it wouldn't scratch off. But they tend to repeat the names on their palettes. I think it's because they share like colors, but each one, just kind of like adds other colors in that range, so to speak, or in that finish or whatever, kind of categorized the same, so they end up naming them the same. But this one is the Perfect 10. It's got 10 shades in this little thing. Most of these that I got this time are hard to open. But there's those. I absolutely love the purples in this little one. And the blues are actually really vivid too. They're almost kind of like the minty hue, maybe a little bit turquoise. I will show you this little turquoise up here in the corner. I can't wait to try this one. It's not too bad. It needs to be built up, but it feels like it could be built up rather easily. That was only just a couple little passes in the pan. Each one has like a white shimmer to it. Not iridescent, just kind of like a little frosty white glitter on them. They're kind of pretty, but it looks like the glitter might wear off kind of quickly, so we'll have to see how that goes. Then we actually move on to some larger ones. That was the only small one that I picked up, but they did have more. This one is also called Shimmer. You'll see what I mean, how it's got the similar purples, so to speak. The blues are different. And this is a 12 color palette. And they've got the same kind of white glitter finish to them, as you can probably see. And as you can tell, the purples are quite similar. They might actually be identical. I'm not for sure. I'll have to play with them and find out. But the black one in here almost looks like an iridescent glitter instead of the little sparkly white. And this one down here, which is kind of like a really dark, almost like a black brown. And it seems like it has like a little bit of a pink, maybe a lavender iridescence to it. But all the rest have that white shimmer. And here's another one of those in the Color Me Glows, which these are the Color Me Glows. This one, of course, is the 12 also. And this one is called Berry. As you can tell, it's got like blueberry blues. It's got some like raspberry reds and pinks. Of course, maybe like a true, like a crushed kind of blueberry color, which blueberries tend to be purple when they're mashed. It's got some whites. It's got a really pale mint green up here in the corner. And this gold, it almost makes me think of like an Aztec gold. Maybe closer to lemon or mango instead of a berry. But I want to swatch that gold actually. You can kind of see it. It's got some nice pigmentation to it. I'm not one who's usually much on yellow, but that might actually be really pretty for fall if you're looking for kind of a brilliant gold tone. Just be on the safe side. Baby wipes. I've had to re-wet these things like 2 or 3 times now. I think from now on I'm actually buying name brand. This one is another one of the Color Me Glows, and this one is in the natural. So in other words, this one is pretty much just all nudes. This one actually looks like it does possibly have some mattes. And it does have, you know, a few of those shimmers, maybe some satins. I really like this kind of gunmetal gray up here in the corner. That is really, really gorgeous. And this deep dark plum purple, it reminds me of the purple kinda in the one palette that I showed in my first haul video. And that's all for the Color Me Glows, I believe. Let me check. No, I had one more. This one is in Smoky. You'll hear that name again too. This one almost makes me think of camouflage colors. It's got some olive greens, it's got some browns, some taupes, and then it's got that one kind of white color here. But this just, it really makes me think of camouflage. I might have to pick up one of these for Graveyard Girl and put it in the little gift box that I've been building for her, since her favorite color is camo, closely followed by tie-dye. And now we move on to some little 5 shadow palettes, and they're called the Gemini. In other words, jewel tones. I kind of like their little play on words there, Gemini. These just, of course, have the little 5 shadows, and this one is in Bare, so it's all neutrals. This one actually opens really easy, but not so easy that you have to worry about it popping open. This one also kind of makes me think of camouflage colors. This one is kind of like a slightly olive brown. This one almost has like a plum hue to it. Then you've got this nice beige, this soft buttery gold here, which I think that would be really pretty for Christmas time. And then you've got this nice white, which is more like an ivory, actually. I think I'm going to try this little olive green one. Wow! That's got some nice pigmentation to it. And it actually has a slight gold shift. It's really quite unique. I've not seen a color like that before. So these possibly will have some good playing around with potential. And I will say this, it does stain just a little bit, that one. But that's okay. Just gotta watch out for those because they might stain. I also got another one of the Geminis, and this one is in Smoky. This one is mainly the white and as well as shades of purple and navy blue. This one actually is probably closer to a black borderline blue maybe, but I love this navy blue here, this deep plum, and this lavender. Actually, it's not really even a lavender, it's more like a dusty mauve, but I'm going to try this navy blue. That one's got some nice pigmentation to it as well, and it's got a little bit of a shift, but it seems like it's more like a satin matte. Let's see if this one stains. A little bit. So we'll have to go rather light-handed on these because they will possibly stain your eyelids. Be ready to have eye makeup remover handy when you go to take those off. Ready? Get these next. Oh, I missed a Gemini. This one is called Shimmer. However, it is not like the other shimmer. This one is completely different. This one has a lot of spring tones to it. If I can actually get the darn thing open. Open sesame! Hey, it worked. But you have this vibrant sunshine yellow, this kind of a bubblegum pink. I know it looks kind of lavender on my screen, on the camera. This is a nice sky blue. This one's just kind of like a slightly subdued sky blue, almost like cloudy day. And then you've got a really vibrant cobalt blue. I'm actually going to swatch each of these. Wow, that yellow. Pow! Didn't get enough on my finger. That blue, but that yellow. This thing is ridiculous. And a couple of these, the blues I'm having to build up a little bit so they're a little bit more noticeable. But we'll see how it is with this cobalt blue. There you go. And I will hold the palette up for comparison. Those are actually some really pretty colors, but that yellow, it just really stands out. If you want something really vivid in the way of a yellow, this one is probably going to be your go-to. And something else I've noticed, all of these, they're very soft. They go on very smoothly. But some of them tend to be a little bit powdery, so you might want to watch when you're applying those. That way you don't get so much fallout. But for $1, you can't complain too much, especially with pigmentation like that. That yellow is just ridiculous. I could see someone possibly blending in a little bit of that yellow somewhere in their look for Easter. Especially if it's a nice sunny Easter, which is rare. Most of the time Easter it's raining. And now we can move on to the other Twinkle Twinkle palettes that I picked up, which is the line from the first one that I picked up in my first haul. This one is in Party Girl. Do not be confused with BH Cosmetics Party Girl palette. These have 10 shadows, or excuse me, 8 shadows. Check out all these purples and pinks. And then it's got, you know, a nice silvery gunmetal gray and a black. And these seem like they are all just pearlescent. There's not so much a sparkle, they're just kind of pearly. So they might end up coming out metallic. Let's try one. I think I'm going to try this pink here. It could easily be built up. It actually looks more vibrant to me than it does on my camera. But you could easily build that up, and it's just a very bubblegummy pink. It's kind of gorgeous, even though I'm not much on pink. That is nice. It'd be a really pretty Valentine's Day color. And the next one, if you ask me, this one should have been called Tropical or something, but they called it Romance. This thing, it gives you everything in the rainbow. Quite literally. And I know this one, it looks more blue on camera. It's actually more of a green. Kind of like a turquoise with a more greenish hue. Seems like most of these also are the shimmer, but they're not the glitter. It's kind of like the satin, possibly. And just because this yellow looks even more vivid, I've got to try this one. Oh yeah, it's even more vivid than the other one. This one is almost like a borderline neon yellow. That is just, wow! I'm actually really impressed with those yellows. I'm not much on yellow, but wow. I'm also going to try this purple. Whoa. Make sure the back of my hand's dry. Stick it in front of my fan. Oh wow, that is absolutely beautiful. Maybe I'm biased. I'm a purple nut. Maybe I'm biased. But it has a nice pearlescence to it. Not sure how well you could see it, but I sure can. I love it. I want some more of it. Not that I need it yet. And then the last one for the Profusion Twinkle Twinkles. This one is in nude. This one for some reason, it doesn't even snap shut. So this, oh, I see why. The little lip thing here's kind of worn down. And again, this kind of reminds me of the camouflage colors, mainly because of this olive green right here. And this, it's almost got like a slight peachy hue to it. It's quite unique. I'm going to try this copper one right here for you. And I'm also going to try, this bronze, and this would be more like a copper. And I'll do the green too. Why not? Oh, wow. Green needs to be built up a little bit. But the bronze and the copper, oh my god. Wait till you see this. The green has a gold shift. These would be gorgeous for fall. I mean, compare those. I've got them right underneath their corresponding area in the pan. Those are absolutely amazing. I'm especially loving this copper. It's almost like a light marsala color. And I know marsala is a big color for this year. And that bronze is actually quite pretty too. And you can see just how metallic those really are. This one just almost reminds me like of an old penny. Gorgeous. I think I've just found my new favorite fall combination. Really pretty. But it looks like I have a little bit of self-tanner on from that copper. And maybe a little bit from the bronze too. And lastly was the Physicians Formula. I will show you this. You can tell it's kind of like their little signature packaging, but there's no label on the back. But I will show you the evidence that it is Physicians Formula, quote unquote. This is the package it came in. And it is, of course, the shimmer strips, and this one is for the smoky line for hazel eyes. They didn't have any at all for blue eyes or green or brown. All they had was hazel, and they had bukus of these things. I want to say they had probably about 6, maybe 7 pegs worth of these. But you know what? This would probably work well for green eyes as well, because it does have some plummy purples. And also this isn't hinged, and it takes some finagling to open it. So if you have the patience and you want to check out one of these, by all means, help yourself. But just be known, they are a pain in the butt to open, and as I said, it's not hinged. It's just like a little lid. And it's very snug fitting, at least on mine anyway. But it's got some nice, pretty little colors in it. And of course, the combinations are practically endless with this thing. You can mix, you know, all of the little smaller ones together, because they're paired up into trios. You've got one trio here, one trio here, and one trio here. But you can cross and mix and match. And you can get some really pretty combinations. I'm actually going to try this kind of plummy purple here. Feels a little dry, but still smooth. Almost kind of reminds me of that copper from over here in the Twinkle Twinkle palette. Just slightly more purpley. And these don't stain. So all in all, I'm actually still pretty impressed with these Profusions so far. Although some of them in these do stain. The ones from my first Twinkle Twinkle palette, I didn't have any problems with staining. But some of these, they have been staining the back of my hand. Maybe it's just because the back of my hand's more prone where it's more dry. I don't know, but where they stained a little bit, so you might want to use caution if you pick those up. You don't want to go too heavy-handed. They are soft, so you'll pick up a lot of product very easily. So you might want to, you know, just in case, put some extra powder under your eye. Just dab on some loose powder, do your shadow, and then brush away that excess powder and take the fallout with it. But yeah, that concludes this little haul from the Dollar Tree. If you have any questions, of course, as always, you can leave me a question down below in the comments, or you can hit me up on Instagram or Twitter at OXGlitterDivaXO, and maybe if I can actually get this fine-tuned and perfected, as well as toned down to where it's not so dark, I will definitely get up a tutorial for you soon. I want to get up a couple before Valentine's Day. So, stay tuned, and I will try to get those up for you, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.